Chapter 8. Clearly, something's wrong. "So what do you guys do all day when you're sailing?" Joseph asked. Laying on the deck as he stared up at the sky, the clouds slowly drifted past the sea of endless blue. "Clean the deck, drink, fish, drink some more, check inventory, have a lil drink, tell stories, drink one more time, then eat, and sleep till tomorrow," Sensi said, as he sat down smoking a cigar in the corner examining the map with a compass. "I'm gonna be coy. That sounds really boring," Joseph said, dragging out his words. "Except for the tell stories part. What kind of stories?" he asked. "Usually ghost stories or old sea shanties," Ishi replied. "Can you tell me one right now?" Joseph asked eagerly. "Nah, you don't want to hear our old fishermen's tales," Ishi chuckled. "Come on, there's nothing else to do," he said, sitting up. "Why don't you tell us what you do to pass the time?" Sensi said, the cigar still hanging off his cracked lips. "Yeah, you're young. Must have had a lot of running around to do," Wara chimed in. Well," he started to say. "I usually just stayed inside." "You're pulling our legs," Ishi said, turning around to look at him. "Not really, I just stayed inside, cleaned, or wandered around the beach," he said. "Couldn't do much on the island." "How come?" "It's a long story," Joseph replied. "And not a good one." "Come on, tell us. Like you said, there's nothing else to do," Wara said. "It's just that—" Joseph stuttered as he retracted his legs, curling into a ball as the intense, strangling pain of tears gripped his throat. "Yeah?" Sensi asked. "Nobody wanted me there in the first place," Joseph continued. "I don't even know what I did for them to hate me so much." "Well, what about family?" Ishi asked, trying to redirect. "They must be worried about you." "Doubt they'd call me that anymore." "What do you mean? You can't be serious," Wara asked, looking him up and down as he fanned himself. "Well, I am," Joseph snapped. "They're better off without me." "It's all right, just breathe. It's okay we didn't mean anything by it," Ishi said, waving his hands in fear as they all stared at Joseph. "What's wrong?" Joseph asked, looking up as the three of them steadily backed away from him. "Clearly something's wrong," Joseph protested. "You, melted the shoes we gave you," Wara said, pointing at Joseph's feet. "What?" Joseph asked, looking down at the melted goop dripping off of his naked feet, the black sludge running off onto the deck. "What the hell?" Joseph exclaimed. "Don't freak out," Sensi yelped as his cigar fell to the ground. "Why are you yelling?" Ishi yelled back. "Just don't panic," Sensi yelled again. "I'm sorry," Joseph said, his voice short and erratic. "Please, I don't want to hurt anyone anymore," his voice breaking. "Just concentrate and calm your breathing," Ishi said, still trying to keep his distance. "I don't know how," Joseph screeched as flames erupted out of him. The smell immediately struck his nose as the wind pushed the blackened smoke onto the ocean. He looked on in fear at the deck, now ablaze. The flames roared on behind him, leaving the shiny hardwood deck blackened, scarred, and screaming. "I'm sorry," Joseph screamed, as the panic sunk in the fire raged on behind them, quickly claiming the front of the boat as it made its way toward the bow. I'm sorry," he stuttered again, turning around to look at them. Tears welled up as he gasped for air. His vision blurred, the orange streams of light blending into the rest of the boat as he stood there, frozen. "Wara, grab the barrel!" Caius yelled, walking up behind them from below deck. "You three stop gawking and get moving!" Wara ran to the small room behind him, rolling out a large wooden barrel as water slushed and swirled around inside. "Stand back, everyone!" Wara yelled, pushing the barrel closer and closer to the roaring flames. "You know what to do, Wara," Caius said, looking on. As he opened the top of the barrel, something that looked eerily similar to water poured out, sliding seamlessly across the deck, dousing the fire as it spread outward. The flames from the front of the ship disappeared as quickly as they came, The liquid in the barrel coated the deck in a clear, waxy-like substance shimmering in the midday sun. "A little faster next time, men, come on," Caius whined, rubbing his neck as the sleep from his eyes melted away. "I'm so sorry," Joseph whimpered, as his attack began to subside. "It's all right," Caius said. "But I caused it. I almost burned down your ship. It's all my fault," he started to say. "That's true. You did cause it," Caius asked, sitting down as the others gathered up the remains of the barrel. "But it's a good thing we got dousing liquid by the barrel on board," Ishi said, joining them. "Dousing liquid?" Joseph asked. "Yeah, it outs fires and leaves the burned spot. Practically new again," Wara said. "I've never heard of it," Joseph replied. "Yeah, it was developed in Cain," Caius said. "Pretty life-saving for a place full of flame users. We always have some on board." "Oh, that's amazing. Almost like magic," he replied. "More like science," Sensi said in the background. "But given what just happened, you made us use up an entire barrel," Caius said. "We can't have this happening again," he continued, a wave of seriousness washing over him. "I don't even know how it happened. We were all talking about what we do while we're bored and—" Joseph said, stopping abruptly. "And what?" Caius asked. "They said I melted the shoes," he replied, looking down at his non-existent shoes. "And then I panicked and—" he continued, still trying to find the words. "It's our fault, Cap. We asked him something personal," Sensi said, stepping forward. "Well, if you ask me, it was your fault," Wara replied, shifting the blame. "What?" Sensi yelped. "You started screaming at him," Wara yelled back, pointing to Joseph. "I was just trying to help," Sensi said, pouting. "Based on what you all said, you're all to blame," Caius said, standing up. "You all should know better than to ask an untrained flame user questions that incite emotional distress," Caius said, reprimanding them. "Step 1 of handling flame users: emotions are fickle and can cause severe damage." "Sorry," they all said, looking down in shame. "And you," he said, looking at Joseph, "you are an unstable liability to yourself and those around you." "Ouch, Cap. That was a little harsh," Ishi said, trying to mediate. "It needs to be said," he snapped. "He could have burned the mainsail and left us all stranded out here." "Aye," Joseph screeched as Caius suddenly grabbed his shoulder, dragging him along. "Ishi, bring over that lantern, now," he continued. "I hate to do this, but if you continue like this, you will be a danger to not only yourself, but to my crew and everyone around you," Caius said, taking the lamp from Ishi.